Hi, I'm Kenton, and this is Kenton Knows. In this video, I want to share some of the supplies, equipment, and software I find useful in managing my rental properties. I know this isn't a hard-hitting topic, but I hope you find it useful. If you like this video, please hit the like button, consider subscribing to my channel, and leave me any questions below as well. This may sound a little strange, but to begin, I highly recommend a laminator. You can get one on Amazon for less than $30. I have a link below for some that I recommend, and here are a few of the things I use it for each year. First, I use it to create mailbox labels for my multi-unit property mailboxes and the door buzzers. The labels look professional and stay that way even in the rain. I also use it to create descriptions and print pictures that I put on my for rent signs. Each sign is generic in that it just has my logo and contact information, but no property information. I then use double-sided tape to attach my laminated pictures and the rental description to the signs each year, depending on which unit I'm renting. This way, I don't need to order a new sign each year, and I can change the rental rate as needed each year as well. I have also used the laminator to make other signs as needed, such as please put your trash in the garbage cans, not in any common areas, when I've had a few tenants leave their trash in the common hallways or on the back porch. Or a please be sure the door is closed sign, when a tenant seems to leave an exterior door open a few times. Of course, when it became a security issue, I just ordered and installed an inexpensive automatic door closer to eliminate the issue. I provided the link for it below as well. Since I already mentioned signs, I'll reiterate that I ordered generic for rent signs with my logo and contact information and a blank area to place the specific information applicable to the unit I'm advertising. I like Vistaprint and Build-A-Sign, but there are clearly a lot of options out there. Here's an example of the signs I order. I also keep a bag of clear zip ties to attach the signs to the fence at each property. Lock boxes. These are a must-have. I have a bunch and use them both for showings as well as for the tenants. For showings, I use them if I have listed the property on the MLS, and then I can allow agents to show the property when I'm not there. For tenants, I leave the lockbox, and once I know the property is cleaned and ready for the tenant to move in, I'll give the new tenants the lockbox code. I'll have one set of keys in the lockbox and a second or third set in the kitchen. This way, the tenant can move in whenever they arrive, as opposed to me needing to meet them there when they finish packing and show up 3 hours late. It's really better for both of us. Sometimes one roommate will get there and the other won't arrive for another day or two, so I let the tenants use the lockbox till they both have their keys, and I'll pick up the lockbox after they've moved in. For $30, I'd recommend keeping an extra one in your car. I've also installed permanent lockboxes at each property, so I can allow my maintenance team or a contractor to access the property without needing to meet them on site. I place one lockbox outside with the common building key, and then place all the unit lockboxes inside a common area. I have also used these permanent lockboxes for lockouts or when a tenant loses a key. That way the tenant can get in or replace their key, and I don't have to make a special trip to the property right away. It might go without saying, but you really should have business cards as well. For showings, I'll give prospective tenants my card and let them know if they'd like to apply. They just need to go to the website and the card. Or if they have questions about anything, they can call, text, or email me. The cards are also great for appraisers and contractors as well. And Vistaprint makes it very easy and inexpensive to order them. For a few dollars, you'll come off as professional, even if you're just getting started. I have several other videos on the software I use to manage my rentals. I use Tenant Cloud as my online property management program, which I have been using for years and highly recommend. For accounting, I use the desktop, not the online version of Quickbooks, and the reason is quite simply cost. I have all my properties in their own LLC, so the online version would require me to pay for each company separately, whereas the desktop version allows me to create as many companies as I want without paying an additional fee. For video editing of all of my Tenant and other YouTube videos, I use DaVinci Resolve, which is also free. I have detailed videos on why I use Tenant Cloud and a few videos on how I use QuickBooks, in addition to how I set up the accounting and banking for my real estate business. If you do any of your own maintenance, you will need a cordless drill and some other basic tools depending on your level of involvement with regard to repairs. I would recommend that you keep the following items on hand so you have them when you need them and don't have to wait on a delivery or hope that Lowe's or Home Depot have them in stock. I'll start with great stuff. I buy them in a contractor pack of 12 for the bulk discount at Home Depot, and I have them on hand anytime I see a gap or opening in a property. It really is great stuff. I'd also highly recommend having rubber gloves on hand anytime you use it, as it sticks to everything and is hard to get off your skin or anything else it touches. I have a link below for the gloves that I've bought for years and highly recommend. I also recommend having a tube of white caulk on hand. It has countless applications, and I always run into an instance where I need it while I'm visiting the properties. Light bulbs. Always be sure you have a few LED bulbs with you for any time you see a common light bulb out. Your tenants will really appreciate it. There is nothing worse than coming home at night to a dark walkway, staircase, or hallway. I'd also get a few LED appliance light bulbs too. For other appliance parts, I like to have an oven heating element on hand, and anytime I upgrade or replace an appliance, I keep the old appliance in the basement and use it for parts at other properties. For furnace and hot water heaters, I also keep igniters, pressure switches, and flame sensors on hand for the furnace and hot water heaters. They are fairly inexpensive, but great to have on hand when you need them to fix a tenant's heat or hot water heater quickly. For furnace filters, I buy the inexpensive spun glass furnace filters and have at least a box or two on hand for each property. If your property is in a colder climate, I'd recommend having a shovel and a bag of snow melt at each property in the fall. I do snow removal at the properties, but there are times when a tenant needs to leave at 7 a.m. after a snowfall, and it's highly unlikely we'll be out there before they have to leave. I have other videos on how I perform maintenance and many other aspects of my rental business, so I'll let those videos explain that information in detail. I would also like to recommend that you paint all of your rentals the same color, so you don't have to stock more than one color or worry about color matching. I use a really light gray with an eggshell finish. It is so light that I actually paint the walls and ceiling the same color, so we avoid needing to cut in the ceiling. Once you have all the walls in all your rentals the same color, it is really easy to just touch up the paint between tenants instead of needing to repaint the entire unit and try to match the color. So I always have my standard gray paint on hand along with some semi-gloss white for the trim. Another thing to remember is keeping track of your mileage. Personally, I have a dedicated vehicle owned by one of my property LLCs, so all maintenance, gas, and insurance is billed directly to the LLC, and it's super easy for me to use that company credit card for all transactions. However, before I had a dedicated vehicle, I kept a log of all my mileage to and from each property and any other place I went for one of my properties. There are some pretty cool apps out there to track your mileage, which you might want to consider, as this is, in my opinion, a great tax deduction for real estate investors. Since we're on the topic of deductions, I have a separate bank account and credit card for each property, which makes it really easy to keep track of which transactions apply to which properties, and I have a video explaining how I set all that up. So, in summary, here are the items you might want to consider buying or having on hand to manage your rental business. Laminator and clear laminating sheets, double-sided tape, for rent signs and zip ties or a yard sign to secure it, lock boxes that can be put on a door handle or fence, permanent lock boxes, or if you change all your locks to electronic locks, you may not have a need for lock boxes at all. Business cards. For maintenance supplies, I'd start with a cordless drill and other basic tools, great stuff, and rubber gloves, white caulk, LED light bulbs, including appliance light bulbs, oven heating elements, igniters, pressure switches, and flame sensors, furnace filters, a common paint color, and white paint as well, snow shovel and snow melt, a separate bank account and credit cards for each property. For software, I use Tenant Cloud, Quickbooks, and DaVinci Resolve. For apps, you would probably want to have a mileage tracker. I hope this gives you an idea of the supplies, equipment, and software I use to manage my rental portfolio. If you know of any other items I missed or that you can't imagine living without, please share them in the comments below. Please like this video and consider subscribing to my channel. If you found this useful, please share it with a friend. Also, please be sure to check out my other videos, and thank you for watching Kenton Knows.